Let's get one thing straight, this isn't just about a court case, it's about the emotional wreckage left behind when the most powerful names in music get caught in something that can't be silenced with lawyers or PR. Rymir Satterthwaite has been quietly fighting for over a decade, trying to prove one thing, that Jay-Z is his father. But now, things aren't quiet anymore. The court just gave him the green light for a paternity test, and this time, Jay-Z has to respond. No more ducking, no more delays. July 18th is the deadline, and the internet is watching like vultures circling. Let's rewind. Rymir's mom, Wanda, claimed she had a brief affair with Jay-Z when she was just 15 and he was 22. A few months later, she gave birth to Rymir. She never saw Jay-Z again, and when she rekindled things with a high school boyfriend, she put his name on the birth certificate. That man, Robert, later took a DNA test. Turns out he's not the father. But Jay-Z, he never took one. Courts tried to get him to take the test back in 2010. He didn't respond. The case got thrown out. Rymir tried again in New Jersey. Jay-Z's legal team fought hard, saying he didn't live or do business there. But the deeper Rymir's team dug, the more evidence piled up that Jay-Z did, in fact, have ties to the state. Still, it wasn't enough. The judge tossed it again. This pattern kept repeating. Every time Rymir came close to forcing the issue, Jay-Z's legal team found a way to stall or deflect. But now, with support from groups like the NAACP and the ACLU, Rymir has taken it to the New Jersey Supreme Court. And this time the judge ruled in his favor, ordering that Jay-Z must respond. Not only that, but Rymir is asking for all sealed documents dating back to 2012 to be opened up. You can feel the tension tightening around the Carter empire. This isn't just some TikTok rumor. Rymir isn't clout chasing. He's been painfully consistent in every interview. He doesn't want money, he doesn't want fame, he wants the truth. And honestly, that's what makes this whole situation feel so raw. Because if this kid is lying, then he's been doing it for over a decade with zero gain. But if he's telling the truth, if Jay-Z really is his father, then the fallout could shake the very foundation of the Carter family's image. Beyoncé, of course, is caught in the storm too. Reports say she's been completely thrown off by the latest court developments. She's been working on a tell-all book, a memoir over a decade in the making, but apparently she's hit pause. Sources close to her say she's reconsidering everything she was about to reveal, including parts of her marriage, Jay-Z's past cheating, and that infamous elevator fight with Solange. But now, with the possibility of a 31-year-old love child entering the public spotlight, even Beyoncé might be losing her grip on the narrative. And it's not just tabloids whispering. Big names are speaking up. Nicki Minaj, who's had her own complicated history with Jay-Z, tweeted about the case. Same with 50 Cent, who couldn't resist throwing shade. Even major influencers and platforms started resharing the story with captions like, "Jay-Z's goose is cooked," and "Happy Father's Day, Hav." This isn't gossip anymore. This is becoming a cultural moment. The type of moment that forces people to pick a side, not based on legal filings, but on vibe, on intuition, on what just feels true. Jay-Z built a billion-dollar legacy on control. Control of his image, his lyrics, his narrative. But what happens when that control slips? Rymir isn't backing down. With court approval to proceed and social media amplifying every beat of this saga, it's no longer a matter of private speculation, it's public record. This time, if Jay-Z dodges, people will notice. Not just fans, but the culture itself, the same culture that helped make him untouchable. And let's be real, the court of public opinion is far less forgiving than any judge. The wild part is, Rymir has already been painted every way possible. Some called him a clout chaser, others called him brave, but you listen to the guy and there's a strange calmness in how he speaks. He's not angry, he's tired. Tired of the silence, the blocks, the closed doors. Over 10 years of trying to get a DNA test, not millions, not handouts, just a damn test. That's what keeps the public tuned in. It's not scandal for the sake of drama, it's the persistence, the humanity in it. And then there's the elephant in the room. Rymir's mom was 15. Jay-Z was in his 20s. The legal implications of that alone are nuclear. It's probably the main reason Jay has avoided this situation like the plague, because if the paternity test confirms the relationship, then suddenly this isn't just about parental rights. It's about statutory issues, moral character, and a dark past creeping into the spotlight. And no Super Bowl performance or Grammy legacy can shield him from that kind of fallout. Some say that's why Jay tried settling things quietly years ago. Word is, his team offered money, hush deals that Rymir's aunt allegedly turned down. And she didn't just say no, she brought receipts, paperwork, names, and details too messy to sweep under a rug. That's when things got ugly. Gag orders, countersuits, a legal maze designed to exhaust anyone without a megastar's bank account. But Rymir kept going. Even after his mother passed from a heart attack, he never stopped. Because her final words to him were clear: "That's your father." Now that court has ordered Jay-Z to respond, it's forcing a collision. This isn't speculation anymore, it's a deadline. What makes this even more explosive is how the hip-hop world is reacting. 50 Cent, never one to hold back, went straight for the jugular. "This your last Super Bowl, bro. Game over," he posted. Nicki Minaj, still salty about her history with Roc Nation, used it as an opening to reignite her grudge. According to her tweets, Jay still owes her money and she's collecting interest for every delay. But it's not just petty shots, it's calculated. These are industry sharks who've waited for blood in the water, and now that it's here, they're circling. Meanwhile, whispers inside Roc Nation suggest Beyoncé is preparing for impact. Not only has she postponed her memoir, but insiders claim she's considering legal safeguards to protect her assets, including properties that were jointly acquired during the marriage. That's not small talk, that's billionaire chess. Because if this paternity test leads to scandal, it's not just about Jay-Z anymore. Beyoncé's entire image, carefully built over 2 decades, could get caught in the blast radius. She's already dealing with tabloid rumors about a strategic separation, and if this mess keeps growing, she might just walk for real. Because if you think this is just about a DNA test, you're not paying attention. This is about legacy, image, power, and what happens when one truth threatens to unravel it all. If Jay-Z thought time would make this go away, he miscalculated. The more this drags on, the more voices join the conversation. Not lawyers, but fans, insiders, and even a few unexpected allies. The streets are buzzing, the blogs are relentless, and now the internet isn't just speculating on whether Rymir is his son, they're beginning to believe it. Because if he wasn't, why dodge a test for over a decade? Rymir's quiet persistence has now turned into a cultural reckoning, and it's forcing people to ask uncomfortable questions about power, wealth, and who gets to silence who. You look at this case and realize it's no longer just about Jay-Z. It's about how far someone can go to protect their empire. Gag orders, legal red tape, mysterious delays, that's not the behavior of someone with nothing to hide. That's the playbook of someone protecting a brand, not a truth. And then there's the emotional layer. Rymir never wanted to be famous. He didn't chase headlines, but fame found him anyway. The guy's been through hell, losing his mother, getting publicly dismissed, painted as a liar, and still he never flipped the story to make Jay-Z the villain. That's what makes this story stick. He's not loud, he's not messy, he's just standing in the middle of a storm, still asking for the same thing he asked for years ago, the truth. And the timing couldn't be worse for Jay-Z. With Diddy's empire already unraveling, the last thing the industry needs is another heavyweight facing moral scrutiny. The cultural tides are shifting. What used to be swept under the rug is now blasted across every timeline, and this time people are listening. The court has spoken, the media's watching. The silence can't last much longer. Insiders close to the Carter Circle say the pressure is mounting behind the scenes. Beyoncé, once the queen of composed silence, is now reportedly furious, not just about the scandal, but about the betrayal. It's not just a random woman, not just a fling, it's a possible son, a living, breathing reminder of a past she never signed up for. And what makes it worse is that it's public. She can't hide behind artistry or music anymore. This is raw, human, personal. Reports claim she's already made moves to separate herself emotionally and financially. Quiet meetings with lawyers, canceled brand collaborations, a new team screening every press inquiry. One source close to her said she's preparing to tell her version of the story, but on her terms. If that's true, the memoir she paused might become the next cultural earthquake. And this time, she won't be protecting anyone but herself. Jay-Z, meanwhile, stays silent. But silence is starting to feel like an answer in itself. Every day he avoids the test, public opinion shifts a little more. Even his defenders are getting quieter. There's only so long you can play defense when the questions get louder than your legacy. If that test ever happens, and it very well might now, the result will define more than paternity. It'll define a reputation, a legacy, a family. And for a man who's built his entire identity on truth, hustle, and resilience, the irony is hard to ignore. Because now the world isn't watching Jay-Z the mogul, they're watching Sean Carter the man. And Rymir, he's still here, still waiting, still holding on to his mother's words. For him, this was never about breaking someone down. It was about being seen, being heard, and maybe, just maybe, being accepted. Because sometimes the truth isn't about winning. It's just about being acknowledged. And right now, that truth is getting harder to ignore.